either is going to win a lot of stuff come South Carolina week, or he's going to be paying up a lot. I can't remember. I know he's got a bet with her now. Me and him probably made one. I want to say, golly, who was the other person that called him? Maybe Carson or somebody else called in and had a bet with him. But anyway, I'm sure there's going to be a lot. And friendly bets. Let me just say that. I know, he's a pastor. Obviously, he don't bet. But on a game like that, we definitely going to have a little bit of fun there. That being said, let me remind you about our friends over at the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport experts. Make sure you guys check them out if you're in any type of pain, whether it's foot pain, knee pain, back pain, you name it. You need to give them a try. You can find them in Midtown Village here in Tuscaloosa. But if you're not local, don't worry. You can always go to the nearest location to you. They are nationwide. Just type in your zip code right here on the website, goodfeet.com, and they will take great care of you like they've taken great care of me over the years. I've been wearing them now for quite some time, and man, they are game changing. I'm serious. If you walk a lot, you're on your feet a lot, man, you got to check them out. So make sure you guys head on over to the Good Feet store. It's a 3-step process. It's very simple. You literally just pop these things in your shoes and they get to work. It is that easy to get that pain relief. Mark my words. So Good Feet store, check them out now. Again, Midtown Village, or their website, goodfeet.com. Again, that is the Good Feet store, improving the quality of people's lives 2 feet at a time. Chase, we just were talking a little bit about what's on the docket today. Well, I got a few videos to get to. Obviously, we love to watch videos and break them down and respond to them. Gives us some good content. So I found a couple videos that are definitely interesting. Number one, you guys know I'm beating the conversation like a dead horse in terms of the legislation thing, but it's just anytime we get some new stuff with it, we're going to talk about it. Again, it's a whole new era in college football. So a few new updates on that. I do know that Greg Byrne did that interview with Roger Hoover with the Crimson Tide Sports Network. So I will say I do want to get to that. Now I know Chase clipped it up, so maybe we'll jump around it. Maybe we'll listen to a good chunk of it. I do know I do want to hear it because I know Greg came on Ryan's show and talked to them about it. We never really got to play that. Maybe you guys listened to that interview there, but I would imagine there were some more details with Roger just because it was at a later date as well. They just dropped this interview yesterday. So we'll dive into that some because I really am curious in terms of how Alabama – obviously, we've read a lot about what it looks like, but I think most importantly, we want to see what it looks like here at Alabama, right? Like, how does that change things for the fans? We talked about in some previous shows what Arkansas was able to do. There's one thing that I didn't bring up, but LSU, something that they have brought up. And what I'm getting at is different schools and different, people are choosing different routes to help kind of manage and cover these costs that they will accumulate. Remember, guys, this is just an extra $20.5 million that people are taking on when they already were barely, breaking even, right? So the money doesn't just show up out of nowhere. It's got to come from someplace. We saw some private entities being formed and schools going that route. We'll see how that works. But what LSU did was pretty interesting. I don't think we necessarily can do it because our laws are a little bit different here, but I'll talk about what that is. Some other things that came up. Josh Pate did an interesting video about Kalen DeBoer and Dan Lanning, right? Two, very popular coaches here in college football right now. Definitely on the trend upward, right? Two coaches that definitely seem to be eyeing their first national championship win, right? Kalen DeBoer's been there but didn't win. Well, Josh Pate made a video comparing the two and basically saying who is going to be the first to win their first title. So we'll listen to that. That's only a few minutes long, but I definitely want to dive into that. Plus, another video he made talking about the end of an era, things just looking a little bit different in college football. Are there still true dominant teams? I'm curious to get his thoughts on that because we've been talking a lot about that, especially in the SEC. Things don't seem like that anymore. Seems like you've got a pack of teams that are very similar across the board. But we'll see what he has to say as well. Per usual, 205-342-9904 is the number to the program. We want to hear from you guys. Always love going to the people. Plus, you can always jump in on the conversation via the app message inbox. Now, I do know we might have – I think Jared had dropped one or two the past couple of days. I saw it on my email thread. So now that I know I can do that, I'll make sure I double-check that. So we didn't – I just wanted to say that because we didn't forget about the app inbox. It's just with us doing the YouTube stream and then having callers, sometimes it gets a little lost in the sauce. But I promise what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my email thread pulled up. That way, if you guys do drop something in the app inbox, I can see it immediately. So that being said, that's what we've got on the ticket. First, we got to hit a timeout. Got to pay the bills. When we come back, we'll dive into this. Probably we'll start with the conversation regarding Dan Lanning and Kalen DeBoer. I thought that was an interesting one. The clip is not that long, so we'll listen to that whole thing. It's about 5 minutes. And I want to get y'all's thoughts. But unbiased thoughts, guys. Remember, we got to be unbiased. Who do y'all feel like will win their first title? Kalen DeBoer or Dan Lanning? I feel like that's going to be a fun conversation. We'll jump into it after this quick timeout. Right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. Quick timeout. We'll be right back.
Hey, Bama fans, this is quarterback Jalen Milroe for my friends at Tuscaloosa Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram. Before you shop in...
Man, nice to be back in full swing. Gotta remember all my notes and stuff to hit. Good morning, Justin. What's going on, man? Thank you. Yeah. I definitely feel a lot. Whoops. I feel better. I guess my mic doesn't. That was weird. Whoops. Yes, I do feel better. Thank you. Sorry, let me make sure that's good. All right, that's better. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling better. Getting there, man. Getting there. Appreciate you guys here. Let's see. Let me get this video pulled up. And let me share this video. Anybody got anything fun planned this weekend? I'm going to be chilling out. I can tell you that much. I'm going to be chilling out. Let me turn these on for a second while I fix it.
Answer. We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors
who are shaping the next generation of legends.
We are here for you, aggressively pursuing
victory over injury.
Learn more at andrewsportsmedicine.com.
Summer days just got even brighter with Kohl's epic deals. Get this. You can score tees for just $5.99. Bedding for 60% off. Comfy shorts only $7.99. And so much more. You do not want to miss out. Shop Kohl's epic deals for savings on all things summer now, before it's too late. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. Offer ends June 22nd. See store at Kohls.com for details.
Join the fun at Tuscaloosa's first annual Margarita Festival, hosted at the venue Saturday, July 12. Do you think you know who makes the best margarita in Tuscaloosa? Well, 10 of the best will be competing.
Happy Friday, Kenji. The fun for me was on Wednesday. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to think. Wait, wasn't that when I wasn't on here? Did I miss something? Juneteenth was yesterday, so it wouldn't be, that's not what you're referring to. What was Wednesday? Maybe I'm missing something. Forgive me if I'm missing something obvious. It's been a long week. I'm trying to think. What was Wednesday? It wasn't your birthday, was it? I know Dr. Crystal's birthday was yesterday. Oh, that's right. That's right. You did say that. You went to a concert. Then the next. Oh, okay, that's right. How was that? And if you don't mind me asking, where'd you see him at? Like what city? Dang, that is probably a lot of fun. What's up, Tristan?
So giving way to generally clear conditions. Later, the overnight low near 72. And then for your Saturday, scattered thunderstorms in the morning, then partly cloudy late with a daytime high of 89. I'm meteorologist Bill Murray on Tide 100.9.
It's 83 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. All right, so we were going to listen and break down this video about Dan Lanning versus Kalen DeBoer, but I see we got our buddy KJ on the phone lines, And I don't want to leave him waiting too long because we haven't heard from him in a while. I was hoping he would have called in yesterday because I'm sure him and my dad would have had a good back and forth. But don't worry. I'm sure my dad will probably be listening and something maybe will catch his attention. Maybe he'll hop on here. But before we do that, let me share a quick update with you guys about our friends over at R&R Cigars. So we're back live with our code, right? So obviously you still get, you got the 20% off any 20 cigar deal that we've been talking about. Build your perfect selection. Right. I know Father's Day is past, but there's still birthdays and other things coming up. July 4th is coming up. I'm sure you guys will be celebrating that. Maybe at the beach, maybe just kick back, relax. If you guys enjoy cigars and things of that nature, you know where to find them. R&R Cigars. But even better, when you go to that website, rnrcigars.com, use code Miller's Edge, MILLERSEDGE for an even greater discount. Trust me. Use that code Miller's Edge with any purchase that you use. It doesn't even have to be the 20 cigar deal. So obviously if you get 20 cigars, 20% discount, that's great. I don't know if you can stack them. That'd be great if you can. But if not, just use Miller's Edge. It doesn't matter what you're buying. You can buy 1, you can buy 10. Code Miller's Edge when you check out at rnrcigars.com. Again, the best humidor in the Southeast. Make sure you do that. Another note, if you're a big fight fan like myself, if you guys like the boxing matches, the UFC matches, especially those UFC matches, right? Oliveira coming up. Deontay Wilder's got a big fight coming up, right? The 27th, 28th that weekend. So next weekend, they will be playing the fights. They are the only place that I'm aware of in town that puts on these fights, right? So if you guys like to watch the fights, you like myself, make sure you hit on the R&R Cigars. You can watch it for free. Then obviously you can get these great deals. Choose over 160 bourbons as well, right there. 2703 Gary Fitz Street, right there in the heart of downtown. You can't miss it. The big old white mansion, wraparound porch, all that good stuff. So make sure you guys check them out for that. Again, next weekend, you got the big fights, boxing, and with Deontay Wilder, you got Oliveira, 27, 28. Go check them out and watch the fights for free right there at R&R Cigars, the official cigar provider of Alabama football since 2014. All right. Let's go to the phone lines, Chase. Let's go ahead and kick it off early. Then we'll jump into this video stuff here in a minute. We like going to the people. 205-342-9904. KJ, you're up.
What's up, man? Hey, can y'all hear me good? I'm in the car. I'm doing one of your dads. I'm driving to St. Augustine.
St. Augustine? What are you doing down there?
We're having a family. So I'm going for June 19th. No, I'm just kidding. We're having a family reunion.
A little late for that, but fair enough. Fair enough. No, that's fun.
Yeah.
I've never been to a family reunion. The closest thing would be going to my dad's hometown, where everybody kind of grew up on like the same dirt road / street, and everybody would just be gathered cooking food. So that's probably the closest thing. Family that's pretty cool though. So I mean, I'm guessing you got a big family. Y'all all get along? You got any beef with any of those people?
Man, so look, like last year we found out Peter Terrell was our cousin. Like our family's so big, like it's ridiculous. AJ Terrell, the cornerback that plays for
from Atlanta.
Yeah, so it's like you learn different things that you never knew anybody was related to you at all, and then you're like, oh wow, that's my cousin. Like I never knew that. Like I see this guy a lot.
That's interesting.
So it's kind of weird, man. Yeah, it's kind of dope to be. I suggest everyone go to those if you could, if you're available to.
That is pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, my family is a little it's a little interesting, man. I'm not the closest knit group anymore. Unfortunately, it's kind of spread out. But that is cool though. Maybe I'll start doing it down the road when I have a big family. Sounds fun.
So look, I wanted to answer your question. You were asking about before the video. You said about Kalen DeBoer and Dan Lannon. That's actually a really good question. It's a toss up to me. Like I can see it going any way. Like I would say Kalen DeBoer based upon the thing is the 12-team playoff. That's the difficult part, right? Like if Landon just had the 14 playoff, I think Landon would have an easier way to get in to win it. But with that 12-team playoff, it's a little bit more difficult. So that might knock Landon off, man. And I think that DeBoer may have it just with him being in the South, having more skilled, more dominant players that may be ready for college football, playoff football. That may be the thing that gets DeBoer over the top. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, that's fair. I agree with you being a little bit more of a toss-up. The only thing I would say is I feel like Oregon probably has the schedule in their favor. I mean, I'm looking at their 2025 schedule, and I'm just going to be honest with you, man. But to your point, the 12-team will soon to be 16 playoff. I'm just saying maybe their seeding could be better. Maybe that helps them out, gives them a little bit of an advantage. I'm just saying when you look at these two coaches / teams, right? I think coaching wise, obviously, DeBoer has a leg up, right? His head to heads with all these guys that you'll name, he's got them on that. He's been to a national championship game already. But what I'm getting at is just looking ahead. I mean, Oregon's schedule, I'll share it on the screen real quick. Montana State, Oklahoma State, Northwestern, Oregon State, Penn State, right? So we'll circle that one. Indiana, they were decent last year. Rutgers, Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, Southern Cal, and Washington. So, I mean, schedule-wise, I mean, they're going to be in good shape, I'd imagine. Not to mention they recruit well. They've got a lot of resources. Now, we'll see how those resources look, given that the NIL deals allegedly have to be legit now. I still would imagine they're going to be just fine. So they recruit well. The schedule looks decent. I think they'll be straight. Who's going to win it first? It's just tough to say. It's like you said. I mean, with the playoff system, it's hard to really say. I mean, because there's so many teams that are going to get a chance. But just looking at them as coaches, man, I mean, I know you look at Oregon staff. He's got Tosh Lapoy out there, and I'm familiar with, him and some other guys. I don't know, man.
The guy that we made stop coaching.
Who? Who are you talking about?
Remember when who was calling the players for Tosh?
Pete. Pete
yeah.
Man, why am I forgetting his last name? Pete y'all. Pete Golden. Hey, I can't believe I forgot. I forgot his last name. Well, no, listen. Well, y'all beat his name to death. I mean, y'all used to call in hating the man. I used to be like, God, relax, man. Nah, wait. You can say you got y'all. Listen, man. That dude wasn't as bad as y'all made him seem, man. He really is a good coach. I will say that. He had a good unit last year at Ole Miss. Now, obviously,
I never blamed him. It was how Alabama fans are. They look for anybody to blame, man. It's just ready for one person to blame, and then they'll go with it. But yeah, give me Kalen DeBoer. I think Kalen DeBoer is I was rewatching the Georgia Alabama game. Like, he understood the moment and the intensity of that game. Like the offensive scheme was impeccable, man. Like that man was ready. He was ready for that game. He was locked in. I wouldn't he was locked in for all the games like that.
What do we say? What do we say about the other games, though? I'm just curious. Like, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying about a matchup like that, but when I see, let's say, like some of the things in the South Carolina game, not showing up great against Oklahoma, Vanderbilt.
We won the South Carolina game. I know you want us to beat your dad's team by 1 million points, but we want that game, man.
Whoa! I'm not, brother. I'm not looking at the scoreboard, bro. Go back and watch the tape.
I know you hate it.
Go back and watch the game. Listen, no. It has nothing to do with that, bro. Go look at. You realize we literally had multiple opportunities to literally lose that game. We barely won that game. There was just some decisions in that game. Again, I still think he's a phenomenal coach. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of positives I see, but there's also some things that I think could be better for sure.
I think that goes to a lot of that goes to Nick Sheridan unexperienced. I think he really let Nick Sheridan call the play, and I think that was crazy. I did not think he was going to do that. I think he let Nick Sheridan, and I don't want to be the person to blame all the bad games.
Bro, come on, man. Head coach, remember now, head coach gets the final say in everything, man. Again, I'm not knocking. I'm just saying, like, but I would say there's some things that could have been better last year. Look, go back and listen. Just do me a favor. Here's some homework for you, KJ. Go back and watch. I don't do well with homework. I'm sure you don't, but do this one for me. Go back and watch that South Carolina game, whether it was, before the half, trying to, be too aggressive. It results in a turnover. I know people are going to say, oh, well, he wasn't throwing the football, but it still was the play design. I mean, it really didn't make, in my opinion, it didn't make too much sense. I mean, throwing across the field like that, I don't even know if it really would have set us up for even a long field goal, which, mind you, our kicker last year was not trustworthy, especially from deep, right? So that's stuff like that. Then even like towards the end of the game, like, I can't remember what exactly happened, but I just remember watching. I'm like,
I really want to know why did they abandon the run that much? Like, I did not get that part of the play call. Like, what what's the reasoning behind y'all spamming the pat? Like, I don't get it. Like, I really don't. And I said that Justin Hayes, everyone's like, oh, well, Justin Hayes didn't do what he did. He didn't have an opportunity, man. Like, he should have left. Like, now if Justin Hayes goes to Michigan and shows out what we're going to say then. Like, come on. We got to be fair as fans. He did not have an opportunity. And it wasn't because of Milroe. It was because of the head coach and the OC were calling pass plays every day. Like, I don't know. I'm not
fair enough. But that's all I'm saying. So I mean, if we're comparing them as coaches, I think they're both two of the top coaches in college football. Obviously, again, I wasn't bringing those games up or things like that to not coach. I just was saying those are some of the things that I would look at when I'm saying, all right, you got to look. I'm just looking at the positives and some of the negatives from last year. That's all. It's just I'm being transparent, man. There's some things that kind of made me scratch my head at times. I'm not saying Dan Lanning didn't have mishaps or things. I'm just I watch Alabama closely. And that's, yeah.
Ohio State scored like 1,000 points on defense, and head to head, he never beat Kalen DeBoer head to head. So I can never put you over Kalen DeBoer when you never beat him. I just can't do it.
See that's always a tricky thing though, right? Because I respect that, right? The head to head should. I'm not saying it should matter for everything, but it should be a big piece of that. But I don't think it should be the whole picture either, though, right? Like, for example, like I'll give you an example. If I'm comparing Kirby Smart to Kalen DeBoer, even though Kalen DeBoer beat Kirby Smart, I got to give the nod to Kirby Smart because he's won championships. You get what I'm saying?
Right. And I think that is the pusher over the Kalen DeBoer Dan Lanning matchup is none of them won championships, right? So what did they do? We have to go by. They're so equal. We have to go by their head to head. Like that has to be the scale to lean the scale over into Kalen DeBoer's side. That's how I look at it.
I can get behind that. With it being as close as it is, you fall back on the head to head. I don't have a problem with that. Like I said, the only reason I was bringing up some of those points is because when you were talking about the Georgia being teach tape, I just was asking you because I agree. I thought our game plan outside now the second half of Georgia. Now I'm not going to lie to you. Obviously, we saw how that went, right? There's a few things, whether it be the lack of adjustments, which I thought that was more of a defensive thing. I think that was more on Kane Womack and the defensive staff. There was not nearly enough adjustments being made, and that's a fact. I mean, even talking with people there, I mean, they'll tell you they needed to be better on adjusting. That's a fact.
Oh, for sure.
But Kalen DeBoer is more of an offensive guy, and I know he delegates responsibility, so that's fair. You mentioned it. You said, not really committing to the running game. Now we're talking about that's Kalen DeBoer's side of things. Now I get he probably was letting Nick Sheridan do his thing, but still, to be fair, and I will say this, and I heard somebody say this, and it is true. Nick Sheridan does get a little bit too much flack sometimes, and I'll say here's why, because people lean back, oh, well, I know we talk about, and I even say it, we need to commit more to the running game, but then when they bring up, oh, well, Milroe was running too much. Well, to be fair, when he's literally the best option you have, maybe we kind of put too much stock into those running backs last year. I love Jam. I think he's, obviously we saw what he can do. But when you have a quarterback with the ability of Jalen Milroe, you know what I'm saying? We can't be spitting both things out. 1 minute we're saying, oh, he needs to, call plays for Milroe. The next we're complaining that he's running too much. You know what I mean?
You can't get that as an excuse either because the OC before you just ran the running back. So you can't really use that as an excuse. You know what I mean? They just, Tommy Reese just had him running the ball. And I would tell anybody, we talked about, that's what I'm saying. We can't constantly keep talking about OCs and OCs when we talked about Tommy Reese, but Tommy Reese was better than Nick Sheridan, Kalen DeBoer. He was better. Season to season, he was better. It's in the facts. When you look at it, it's the case. So I don't know, man. I love football debates because it's so many variables that you can go with. But I will say, what's your guy's name? Pat. Me and Pat got to go for a beer one day when I'm in T-Town. He lied to me, though. He told me that we would have 2 5-star safeties. What happened?
Well, to be fair, Pat loves recruiting, and I'll be honest with you. I'm not a huge, I'm not some recruiting insider, man. I know about the guys you guys tell me to look at, and that's about it. I see we got Coach Smook in here. I mean, he might keep up recruiting better. Maybe he can tell you more. But I'll say this: in terms of, was it Jet, the Jet guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know who's the other. I don't know the other safety. I will say I did look up yesterday when we were talking about that linebacker, that 5-star kid. I think he'd be a huge pickup. Now I don't know if he ends up coming here or not, but forgot his name. But he kind of is. He's like 205 right now, but he plays off the ball, plays edge. I like him a lot. That'd be a big pickup. But I don't know. I'll ask Pat though. I'm sure he'll call and give us an update. You got another recruiting weekend this weekend, so we'll see what happens.
All right, man. It was good talking to you, man.
Always, bro.
You
Be safe on that road, man.
You are the person that helps us get through our day, man. Look, you helped me through this road trip, so thank you, man.
Yo, always, brother. Yes, sir. We'll talk soon.
All right, easy, bro.
Yes, sir. You too. Yeah, he must have got through one of those rough patches, man. That or he didn't pay his phone bill. They're about to cut him off. No, I'm just playing. All right, we got to hit a timeout. We come back. We keep on rolling. If we don't, actually, no, we do it. We got Tommy on the phone line, so we go to Tommy. But I do want to play this clip real quick when we come back about this conversation, see what Josh Pate had to say about it. But you guys let me know in the chat. Who do you guys think is going to win their first national title? Kalen DeBoer, Dan Lanning? Who's it going to be? Let me know right here. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC.
At Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, what's up, Smook? Yeah, so so this is my live radio show. So we're live on air, right? But we're streaming at the same time. So that was one of our callers. You want to jump in the conversation, man? Hop on. But in terms of in the corner, so that's the radio station. That's the link that we're using to stream via radio. But now my pops was on here yesterday. He'll probably, I don't know if he's gonna hop on today. We'll see. But yeah, tap in, man. If you ever want to call in, let us know. 205-342-9904. I mean, I probably could even just send you an invite here. You could just join on the stream if you ever wanted to do that. Oregon's never won a title. That's a hurdle also for Lanning's, kind of like Franklin, Sark, and big games. I mean, I feel like it's still kind of early to say on him. I mean, but I get what you're saying for sure, Mike, but he's so young, man. I feel like he's going to end up getting one. But will it be before DeBoer? I don't know. I feel like we might be in better shape. Lanning will be the Dabo/Jimbo of this new coaching era. Yeah, that's why I'm kind of thinking. I think it's so early for him, man. I think the sky's the limit for him. He's a great coach, and it's crazy because I'm not gonna lie to you. When he worked here, he literally was like the outside linebacker assistant. He wasn't even a full-time coach, and we ain't always see eye to eye. Not like that. It's just more so he used to be talking crazy, man. It's like, oh, chill. Lanning got destroyed by Georgia in Atlanta his first year as head coach. Yeah, but see, his first year as head coach, Yeah, I mean, I'm leaning DeBoer. But I don't know. Just looking at their schedule, though, I ain't gonna lie to you, though. Compared to us, I mean, like if DeBoer is doing that here, just think about what he's got to climb through. You know what I mean? Like comparing our schedule, I mean, year in, year out, competing against LSU, competing against Georgia. And granted, that's probably going to get shifted. I don't know if we'll play them. Probably won't play them next year or for the next 2 years because once don't they shift it next year? But our consistent ones, what? Tennessee, Auburn, LSU.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into this free-for-all Friday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. Having a fun little conversation. We got jump-started on it, Chase, before we really even dove into it, which is fine. We got KJ's thoughts. Again, that conversation is who will win, and we got this from Josh Pate, by the way, their first national championship. Dan Lanning or Kalen DeBoer. Now, obviously, we're going to probably be biased on this side, but try to be unbiased because I think this is a really good conversation, good debate, man. You're talking about two of the top coaches in the game right now, right? I wouldn't call them like up and comers, but you know what I mean. Like, they're still on the younger side of things. Obviously, Dan being a little bit younger than Kalen DeBoer, but in terms of the time that they've spent on the main stage, they're still early in their careers. Kalen DeBoer already seen himself in a national championship game, wasn't successful, but he's been there. And you look at Dan Lanning, man, seeing what he's doing at Oregon, obviously some really impressive stuff. And I don't think there's really any signs of them slowing down too much. That being said, before we go back to the phone lines, let's actually listen to this quick little video. It's about 5 minutes from Josh Payton, get his thoughts on this whole debate.
John from Louisville, Kentucky. I had a big-time argument with my friend about this hypothetical, so you need to break the tie. Who wins a national title first, Dan Lanning or Kalen DeBoer? My answer is Kalen DeBoer. I think he'll win a national championship first. And then did you expect me to be so quick with that? Well, maybe you should be surprised, because normally I beat around the bush and I hedge my bet. There's no way of knowing this. Obviously, there's not a whole lot of skill in this. I'll tell you what it comes down to for me. I trust Dan Lanning to load his roster every year. I trust Kalen DeBoer to load his roster every year. I trust Dan Lanning to be in the Big Ten championship race and the playoff picture every year. I trust DeBoer to be in the SEC championship picture and the playoff race every year. There's a lot that I trust both of them to be doing in terms of checking these boxes. They're both going to be players. They're both going to be in there. Either one of them could win it this year. So if there's a tiebreaker that I need, it's going to be head-to-head. Have I ever seen them coach against each other? I have. DeBoer's had Lanning's number. And in the interest of knowing Dan Lanning like I do, very unmotivated, low-energy guy that Dan Lanning is, I think he needs this. So I'm going to publicly doubt him on the show tonight. I'm going to say DeBoer wins a title before him. And then after the show, I'm probably going to clip this and text it to him. And I'm going to say, you're welcome. Have a good summer. But no lie, if you think about this stat here, you want a paper popper of a stat. Not only is DeBoer 3-0 against Lanning, he is 6-0 against Lanning, Steve Sarkisian, and Kirby Smart. Now, he does not have Clark Lee's number, but he does have Kirby's number and Sark's number and Dan Lanning's number, so I don't think Vandy's going to make the playoff. So Bama probably doesn't have to worry about running into Clark Lee. Brent Venables, tough time beating Brent Venables last year, but he's beaten Lanning 3 times. And I remember 2 years ago, you remember how foolish I was made to look. I wasn't alone, but remember 2 years ago, I picked against Washington like 5 different times, and they just kept winning and kept winning and kept winning. And I remember I went up there when they played Oregon at home. And that was a classic game. It was one of the games of the year. That's when I learned how loud Husky Stadium was, by the way. And they beat Oregon, but they beat them close. Just right there at the buzzer, they beat them close. You remember what you said? You remember what I said? I don't know if you agreed, but I said it. I said, well, all Oregon's got to do is get to the Pac-12 title game. Hey, quick timeout.
And let me skip by this part real quick. But you heard the man. He went ahead and said Kalen DeBoer and also mentioned the head-to-head. So sounds like we're thinking about the same.
Rest in peace, old friend. All Oregon's got to do is get to the Pac-12 title game because that'll be on a neutral field. And I still think they're better than Washington. And then remember, the entire lead-up was I was still putting Oregon above Washington in the JP poll. Vegas kept telling you if they play again, Oregon's going to be favored by more than a touchdown. Well, they played again. And Oregon was favored by, I think, 9 points by the time the game kicked off, and it didn't matter then either. And not only did Washington beat them, they outrushed them, which is a huge surprise to everyone but Washington. So, given that I think they're both studs, I think they're both legit, DeBoer's got the edge until further notice because he's outcoached Lanning. So until further notice, on the seesaw of prediction, I'm going slight lean Kalen DeBoer because he's earned it. Because unlike me 2 years ago, I have to honor his on-the-field accomplishments. That was a nightmare for me. That was a nightmare. I remember we were staying at the hotel for the national title game that a lot of Washington fans were. And, I mean, it had just been like a running hate fest all year. Every time I'd pick Washington to lose and they'd win, I'd hear about it from their fans and some of their players. I was at media day. Some of their players walked up to me. Appreciate you doubting us all year. Thank you. They were nice about it. That was the worst part. I wanted them to trash me, but they were nice about it.
So there's that. So he went with Kalen DeBoer, and he did reference a head-to-head. So I think we're on the same page. So the only thing is I do think for what it's worth, especially you're talking about, it's not necessarily who's the better coach. We're really talking about who's going to win their first national championship first. And to me, when you look at the path there, and I get what KJ was saying, you know, if it was a 4-team playoff, yeah, for sure, you probably would maybe lean Oregon because there was hardly any room for error. And you're talking about Alabama's path being a lot more difficult, in my opinion, than say Oregon's path. You probably would lean towards Oregon with it being an expanded playoffs, about to move to 16 teams. Even with Alabama's path being more difficult, they should still pretty much always find themselves in. That being said, though, you still are going through that gauntlet, man. It's tough, especially talking about adding games and then really getting through that. I don't know, man. I give the favor to Kalen DeBoer just because, you know, I'm gonna lean that way. Just I think it's close, but I'm gonna lean that way. I think the resources here, even with the grueling schedule, I think just puts us a little bit over the edge. However, I wouldn't be shocked if it was, in fact, Oregon, given, in my opinion, their path just feels a lot less strenuous. But that's just me. We got to hit timeout. When we come back, we go back to the phone lines. Definitely curious y'all's thoughts. Again, right now we're talking about Kalen DeBoer, Dan Lanning, too. You know, very, it's not up and coming, but I saw the stat up on the screen when we just watched that video. 6 years as the FBS head coach for Kalen DeBoer, and 4 for Dan Lanning. So relatively young coaches, but definitely some of the top ones in the game who's going to win their first national title. We're saying Kalen DeBoer. Want to hear what you guys got to say after this quick timeout right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. I see everybody lining up on the phone lines. Are coming to you after this quick timeout. Crazy, though, Chase. My dad called out Tommy yesterday. He showed up today. KJ, he showed up today. And Bryce, you know, we hadn't heard from Bryce in a minute. Shows up today. So that being said, maybe I'll shoot my dad a text and tell him, man, we got a lot of your favorites here on the phone lines to get him on here, and we'll see if he wants to join in on this conversation right here. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport Experts. Quick timeout. We'll be right back.
Level up your summer projects with 4th of July savings on top brand cordless power tools from the Home Depot. Whether you're working on a fence, a planter box, or a new workbench, get the power and runtime you need with the Ryobi One Plus 18-volt 2 toolkit from the Home Depot for only $99, was $139. Get 4th of July savings on the cordless power.
Hey, Chase, is it my stream? Is the connection a little choppy? Are you guys in the chat? Let me know. Did that radio link sound all right? I'm sure you guys hear me fine, but how does the radio stream
here
sound?
for the achievers
who are resilient?
I feel like it's going in and out. Hold on one second. Well, actually, I probably shouldn't do that. I don't want the stream to end. Let's see.
.com.
Serving part-time in the it paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school.
Hey, Chase, try to do this. Do you mind, Chase? Could you refresh your stream? I would do mine, but the problem is I don't want to accidentally end it on YouTube. Do you mind refreshing that and see if that works? Justin said it sounds fine to him. Dang, I just was talking about the weather being nice. Now there's another. Oh, it's a heat advisor. Oh, dang. Y'all stay cool.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Does that not sound choppy to you guys? Does that not sound like it's going in and out? Maybe I'm tripping. Let me see something. Is it my audio? Oh, wait. I can listen to the stream. It's interesting.
Count and only respond to official Alabama Department of Labor's social media pages. Report fraud at labor.alabama.gov/fraud. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Labor, ABA, and the station. The Alabama Department of Labor is an equal opportunity.
I want to tell you about our great friends over at Brian Harding Construction. Located in the heart of Tuscaloosa, Brian Harding Construction is woman-owned and strong as steel. A specialty manufacturing firm with expertise in structural steel fabrication, ASME code piping and vessels.
Maybe it is mine. That's interesting. As long as it doesn't sound choppy for
30
you
plus
guys.
years of experience, no one is better fit for the job. For an evaluation, contact Brian Harding Construction today at 205-752-9611. Again, that's Brian Harding Construction at 205-752-9611.
Wait, y'all are telling me that doesn't sound like it's going in and out? Chase, does it sound normal to you? I know Justin said it sounds good. Y'all let me know. I just want to make sure it's not doing that. For y'all, too. I don't mind it if it's on my end, but...
Thunderstorm possible early. Some clouds early also giving way to generally morning, then partly cloudy late with a daytime high of 89.
Can you hear what I'm
meteorologist Bill Murray on Tide 100.9.
It's 84 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into this Baseball Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. All right, we're having this debate here. We got this from Josh Pate, by the way. Who's going to win their first national title first, Kalen DeBoer or Dan Lanning? I want to get y'all's thoughts, but also I want to hear why you think that, right? Obviously, we're all going to lean Kalen DeBoer here in Alabama. But I'm just curious y'all's reasons why. I gave you my reasons why, but also why it wouldn't shock me if Oregon was able to accomplish that with Dan Lanning. But let's see what you guys have to say. 205-342-9904. Let's go back to the phone lines. We got Tommy up next. Tommy, welcome in.
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm great, Tommy. How are you?
I'm getting better. I've been fighting the inner ear and other things. I've been on the puny list for the last week. So you tell your daddy I don't have an excuse, but I've been puny.
No. You do though. No, you do though, because I listen. I had to take a day off Wednesday. I was not feeling great myself. Yesterday, he took the lead, man. I kind of was just hanging out behind the scenes, chiming in here and there, making sure the stream went well. But yeah, man, you're good, man. There's nothing wrong with taking some time to rejuvenate and recover a little bit. All good, brother. Glad you're doing a little bit better though.
Yeah, I still got a road. I mean, when I get these fluid in my ear, I'm having a hard time hearing. My voice was cracking. I just said, I'll just listen. So he got on me yesterday. I'm sorry I let him down, but hey, football season's not here yet. I'll get him fired back up before the season.
Or the other way around. I wouldn't be shocked if he gets you a little fired up, man. I know he had a couple people fired up yesterday with some of his early takes. But if you made it all the way through, though, he said he thinks we got what it takes. He thinks we have what we need in the cupboard, man. Just got to have a shift in mentality, which I don't think anybody can argue that, man. I mean, I think anybody could say, even not just last year, but last few years, man, we just haven't had that same edge to us. And if we want to get back to where we once were, that's a critical piece. I think that's more than fair. I think he's right.
I mean, people is aside. I know the national media wouldn't play it down, so some of these guys, both are great coaches. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to sound like a homer, which I am. We got the right man for the job. I believe it. I'm listening to these other guys, and I'm like, yeah. I know I was for Lane Kiffin. I mean, I really was with his name, but he now getting his coaching staff in. If he can keep them for 2 or 3 years, we're going to get a national championship. I know people say, you people from Alabama, y'all crazy. Y'all shoot for a national championship every year. Well, you shoot for the best. You don't start football practices in the July. Well, I hope we can make some playoffs. No, your goal is to go to the playoff, beat the cross-time rival, and try to compete for a state championship. I mean, that's what America used to be about. You strive for the best. So, I mean, yeah, maybe we are unrealistic, but no, I'm going to go with Kalen DeBoer because every time I hear the man speak, I like him more and more. I mean,
Fair.
so I'm a homer.
Fair.
Tell
What
me
about
homer.
when you look at the paths for each team though? Do you feel like Oregon's would be a little bit easier? Do you think that has any effect here when it comes to this debate?
One sense, yes, because maybe you don't get beat up that bad during the season.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking.
I mean, Alabama got LSU, Tennessee, Auburn. Everybody make a big deal about Clark Lee. Well, he got his golden win. You know, everyone said, well, he beat Alabama. Well, yeah, but guess what, boys and girls? He beat Auburn, too. So everybody in the state need to knock it off. They got their win the first time in 40 years. I know they don't play every year, but hey, it happens. And good for Clark Lee. He's a good guy. He's a good coach. I mean, I don't dislike the man, but he's the enemy. He's another school, so I shouldn't say enemy. He's the competition. He's in our way. Race I go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
fair. That's fair. Yeah, no, I definitely do too, man. And I'm excited for this upcoming year. I know we've been talking about it plenty, but obviously you just look at, the pieces that are falling into place. It's at least exciting to see what it's going to look like, given that, last year, we talk about it. I mean, there's definitely some positives, obviously some negatives. I mean, we all know those negatives, but you look at it, they did a lot of good stuff last year. And everything that they've done since then, bringing Ryan Grubb back, right? I mean, bringing in guys like, Horton to, pair up with Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams and all the guys returning on defense, man. It's hard not to be optimistic about building on what we did last year. And not to mention, again, these coaches having a year under their belt. Yeah, no, I think it's very fair to be very optimistic this upcoming season. It's not going to be easy, but yeah, no, I think the staff and this team, man, they're going to set out to do some really big things this year. And hopefully we do that and then we expand on that and build back up. And I think what's going to happen, Tommy, is once you do see that success, hopefully this next year, definitely year 3, we'll all forget about the first year where they went 9-3 and lost to Michigan, right? That's how it always works, right? Just like Coach Saban, his first year wasn't great. And he started. I'm not saying we're going to have that much success, but once he started having all that success that he had, people quickly forgot about losing. What was it, Louisiana Monroe?
Yeah, well, it's a funny story. You weren't on the team, so I guess I could say that. I went to the Sugar Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And we lost to Utah. I mean, we really stunk the quarter, really the first half. Who they got hurt? We wasn't in the game. Let's be honest. We wasn't motivated. You could tell.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? There was never a good loss, but that was a good loss. To Utah fans, I had a friend who was in business. They just rubbed it in his face. He said, "Thank y'all for beating us in the Sugar Bowl." And they thought he was crazy. Why would you say that? Because we won a national championship the next year, and the year after that, we won it 2 years in a row. He motivated us for the next 4 years. What we needed to do to get back to the standard. I think last year, we saw them both. The big thing I think going to help us this year, that kid out of Louisiana, that transfer, he breaks tackle. That was one thing we didn't have in our running. We didn't have a guy who could really break tackles.
Oh, you're talking about the running back that we picked up. I'll be honest, Tommy. We hadn't really talked a whole bunch about him, but you're saying you think he could be the piece of the puzzle that we really needed. That's interesting.
And because when I seen him in my thing, he breaks tackles. And we didn't break many tackles last year in the running game. You can go look back and see. I might be wrong, but in my opinion, that was a weakness. If we didn't have that guy when it was 4th and 1, we know we got this first down. We know we got the touchdown. He's going to break tackle. He's going to run over people. I mean, just break tackle consistently, especially late in the ball game. When you're tired, it just... Yeah, that's one aspect I'm really looking at. Yeah, the running game. So
another name I would say to look for, Tommy, would be Daniel Hill in that role. I think he definitely could step up for that role that you're describing. Definitely has all the tools to do that. Tommy, it's good to hear from you, man. I'm glad you're feeling better. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend.
All right. Tell your dad, say hi to him. I know
I
he
will.
was
He
making.
texted me. He said he's listening in, so maybe he'll call in a little bit. But yeah, man, he's tuned in, so he said he's listening to you. He's glad to hear from you.
All right. Y'all have a great weekend. Talk to y'all later. Roll Tide.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide, Tommy. Hour number 1 in the books. Hour number 2 coming up right after this quick timeout. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Chase, can you hear me? If so, how many cut-ups do you have for that Greg Byrne and Roger Hoover? Like how long is that for you versus if I just played the whole thing? Mike says we picked up that running back because of if Jam gets hurt, only Richard Young has experience, and that's only a few. Yeah, he brings in experience. What's his name again? What's the guy's name? Let me see. I forgot his name. Maybe you can't. Chase, can you hear me? I feel like you haven't responded in a minute. Let me text him. Maybe he's not listening. All right. Worst case, I'll just pull it up. What is this guy's name, though? Running back transfer. I don't remember his name. Check. Can you hear me, Chase? All right, good. Yeah, no, I've been talking to you for a minute. You might not have been able to hear me. Do you how many cut-ups do you have for that Greg Byrne interview? Like how long would that be? I might just pull it up and just play it. If you guys are just hopping in here, man, make sure you guys drop us a like. That always helps us out, man. Again, we do the stream and everything for free. Only thing we ask is drop us a like, subscribe if you haven't, and support our sponsors for sure, man. Definitely do that. 6 or 7 clips, you say. All right. So 6 or 7 clips. Let me see how long the whole thing is. I could skip through it. I don't think did we ever figure out what this new running back's name is? I feel bad, man. Let me see. I mean, I was thinking this guy was more of a depth beast, but I guess I could be wrong. Dre Washington. All right, cool. We got the clips here. Chase, when you say they're breaking down, or he's breaking down their overall season, is he talking about just like their success, or he's talking about like their revenue? I'm assuming success. Everything pretty much. All right, interesting.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hour number 1 already in the books. Hour number 2 officially underway. Hour number 1, we talked about the debate between Kalen DeBoer and Dan Lanning. Who will win their first national title first? I think we all agreed on Kalen DeBoer, but definitely a good debate. I mean, two up and coming. Again, up and coming, obviously they're established, but you guys get what I'm saying. Have yet to win their first national title, but I think a lot of people would be heavy bettors on the two of these coaches as to be the next guys to win their first one. So had a good debate there. Talk with you guys on the phone lines. We're going to go back to the phone lines here in a minute. 205-342-9904. Matter of fact, we might as well do that, but we will get to this video breaking down what Greg Byrne had to say regarding the new house settlement and what that looks like for all of us, all of you guys, Alabama fans, moving forward. Thought that was really important, plus some more updates on some other stuff. We still haven't even dived into this playoff expansion talk. There's been a lot of updates with that, so maybe we'll get to that here in a minute. But I don't want to leave you guys waiting. 205-342-9904. We still are lined up, so let's go ahead and do that, actually. Let's call an audible. Let's go back to the phone lines. We got Ragged Glory up next. Ragged, welcome in.
You know what? Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
I'm going to answer your question about the Kalen DeBoer and Dan Lanning. I hope KJ is still listening. He ruffled my feathers weeks ago, maybe even a couple of months ago, not understanding who I am and what I'm about love. Thinking I possibly might be a little, no, I'm not. KJ, you need to slow down. First of all, you talk a mile a minute. So, take a Quaalude, kiss Mary Jane, whatever it takes. Slow down. If you don't have Jesus in your life, you better get him.
Oh, what happened? Maybe I missed something.
Because love is universal. It's okay to say to another man, I love you, man. Because that's what it's all about. Now, let me answer your question. Kalen DeBoer is going to be the first to do it. And I'm telling you, I already proclaimed this morning that Alabama Crimson Tide is going undefeated. The nation doesn't understand all of the pieces of the puzzle that we got in place. It doesn't take one quarterback. It takes an offensive scheme. And you know what? Defenses are going to go nuts because they're not going to figure out what we're going to bring. We got them all. We got a team. Rock and roll. Roll, Tide, roll.
Dang. So Ragged came on strong today. So you said
I'm bringing it.
Undefeated.
We're going undefeated. Yep. And the Braves are going to the playoffs.
So when you say undefeated, you mean literally all the way through to the national
all
title,
the way through.
But there's is there one game that gives you any type of slight concern or anything? There's got to be one.
Not at all. Because if there's something about this staff. There's something about the puzzles that are in place right now. 33 players, 11 on defense, 11 on offense, 11 on special teams, and the rotation. You know what? We'll figure it out. And everybody else is going to go, this ain't no saving thing. This is a new regime, and we're going to bring it, and let's mess them up.
I love the confidence. I love the confidence.
It's not about confidence. Right. It's about all these guys this summer get it together, understand who you're going to play, and bring changes.
But I'm saying I'm also looking at the teams that we play. Obviously I think one thing I learned from Coach Saban, it's always about what we do, right? We control. I
Well,
respect that. But I do know,
yeah.
I mean, with college football nowadays, Ragged, there's more parity than ever. I mean, you look at some of the teams that we have, in front of us, man. They're going to be some really good football teams that we have to play. Yeah, and I just feel like we're at a point now in college football, personally, where I mean, any given Saturday when you're matching up against these teams, man, you never know what can happen, right? I think it's more like that than ever now. So that's why I feel like the times of seeing any team, not even just us, any team go undefeated all the way through, even and then you're talking about a playoff system too. I just feel like it's so much harder to see something like that. But again, never say never, right?
Not. And it can be done this year. Heck, the rest of the nation is struggling. I don't see it bringing anything to us. Especially Booger Malzahn in Florida State. That's going to be the first boom.
Well, might be more of a last because that's our last game on the regular season. But I get what you're saying. We'll see, man. It's definitely going to be exciting, man. Definitely going to be a fun one.
Malzahn, offensive coordinator for Florida State. We're going to bring it, man.
You're right. That is the first game. Yeah.
Yep. I'm telling you,
I get what you're saying. What about that matchup? That's a good point. I mean, he knows Alabama pretty well. I guess it is a different Alabama, though.
It is a different Alabama. That's what I'm trying to present to the table here. No, with everything we've got on our roster, the talent, the positions, the skills. My goodness gracious, we can mess this nation up this year. Just study,
do
your job, and give us 60 minutes of football. Yes, we will go undefeated and win the national championship. Ha!
So you think this Alabama roster that we have going into this 25 season is better than any roster that we've had in the last 15 years under Coach Saban?
I'm telling you right now, just for this, Saban was great. You know what? It doesn't matter. It's this regime, this team, and if you play chess or understand the game, you got to shuffle pieces around. Guess what? Kaboom.
Believe it or not, I actually do play chess. I wouldn't say I'm some world-class chess player, but funny enough, I do. So I get that reference, man. Chess
maybe one day at R&R, I'll sit down with you and play some chess. Whatever.
Yeah, you know what? I'm up for that, man. I love chess. It gets you thinking, man. You probably will have me beat. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but I do love.
No. I'm such a novice, but I understand that. You know what? You can always make adjustments, and that's what it takes. Understand the game. Know what it takes to make the adjustments and bring it.
That's right.
So different personnel. You know what? It's okay because it's a team.
That's true. It is a team. Ragged, we appreciate you, man. Appreciate your thoughts, your comments. You have a great rest of your weekend.
Hey, KJ, I'm going to tell Christian and his father, Corey, I love you guys, man.
Absolutely. Always, man. All love with you, Ragged. We appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Good deal. All right. Well, speaking of my dad, the pastor of Payne, he just popped up on the stream here. Looks like it's still loading up. So we got to hit this timeout. We come back. Sounds like we'll have him on here, get his thoughts. Plus, we also got Bryce on the phone lines. Haven't heard from him in a minute. We'll hear from him. All that coming up right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts. We'll be right back.
With Taco Casa.
I can't tell if he's. Can you hear us? Pastor of Payne. I mean, I see you, but I don't hear you. Dude said, bring it. Respect his passion and positive outlook. Yeah, man. I mean, definitely respect that. I'll be honest with you. I don't. For a team to go undefeated in today's college football, I mean, tough. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I don't know. I genuinely was curious. I mean, if he felt that this roster is better than any other roster we've had in the past, there it is, 15 years. I'm sure you love that one. Alabama going undefeated all the way. sure you were loving that one.
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm sure you were fired up about that one. Dwight says, I don't want a first round bye. Give me the home playoff game. I mean, yeah, there's definitely probably some, I guess, benefits of both, right? More rest versus, I guess, the negatives would be, see how some teams come out when they do have a bye week and they don't always play great. There we go. Man, that's definitely, that's an interesting kind of debate there. First round bye or home playoff game? I don't know, man. I mean, if your team is disciplined and if you take the right approach, I'd prefer the bye to rest up. But I mean, we do know a lot of teams sometimes don't always come out hot. So that's a fair take. Bro seems to think this is a revenge tour this season. Wait, where do you go?
Visit them at 3200 Skyland Boulevard East, Tuscaloosa, or check out their inventory online at mercedesoftuscaloosa.com.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Support Experts. Yes, we can hear you. My dad is live with us now. I guess he says he can't hear us. And I was trying to mute him, but I can't even mute him anymore. So I don't know. Anyway, so we're back. He's joining us, and we'll get his thoughts here in a second. But let's keep on rolling in the meantime. 205-342-9904. is the number. We got Bryce up next. Bryce, welcome in.
Hey, listen, let's just dial us back a little bit. Caleb Boyd has already won national championships. Unless I'm wrong, I don't think Dan Lanning has been a part of a national championship. Am I right about that?
He was with us in Alabama. What year was that? Was that the year we won? He was with us at Alabama. I can't remember if it was the year we won or not, but I had to look it up. So, and yes, he actually has. Wait, he was at Georgia, and he was at Georgia with their national championships, right?
I don't think he was.
Yeah, he was the coordinator, wasn't he?
I
Right.
thought
Yeah.
he was there when we beat him. I thought he was there when we beat him in 2017.
Nah, he won a national championship with Georgia as the defensive coordinator, brother.
Well, okay. Well, let's just say as a head coach.
Dang. In Lanning's final year, Georgia would finish undefeated in the regular season, going on to win the 2022 college football playoff national championship, defeating Michigan in the Orange Bowl and defeating us. Remember, yeah, he beat Bryce Young. So, yeah, so if anything, man, you might want to walk that one back,
Well,
right?
time flew by. Time flew by.
Yeah, he's got an edge there, man. He's got an edge there.
But he don't have an edge of winning a national championship as a head coach. and Caleb DeBoer won a couple of them, or maybe at least 2 of them in a smaller division. However, head to head, he's 3-0 against him. So that's what I'm looking at. And our running game, we did not run the damn ball enough last year. Y'all forgetting about Jam Miller. He did break tackles. His problem was he didn't get the ball enough touches.
No, I didn't forget about him. I agree with you 100%. To me, I mean, I thought he did just fine. He was, more than capable as a back. Just didn't have
ball enough.
Yeah, didn't have all the opportunities.
I have the philosophy I'm looking at. We're gonna run the ball, and when people ain't expecting it, we're gonna have Williams going down the sideline, and that's automatic 6. If the quarterback gets the ball to him, it's gonna make this offense more explosive if we run the ball, and that's what we didn't have last year. We did not run the damn ball enough, and and I know Grubbs knows that, and he's gonna show people. He's gonna light some people up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I hope we do see a return of the run game here at Alabama. Even though, I mean, I'd imagine we're going to see plenty of, a lot of a passing attack here. But I do know they have experience running the football. They've showed it before, so hopefully we do see some of that. They talk about it. So we'll see.
And that's what happened to this team. We didn't run the ball enough. We didn't stick to the run, and And I've said it before, and you heard me say it. You cannot learn on the job being an OC at Alabama. You got, and we're not going to have learning on the job this year. We're going to have somebody that knows what they're doing. It's proven. And that's why I think Caleb DeBoer will win a national championship before
Dan Lanning.
Dan Lanning will. Yeah, and that's the theory I'm looking at. However, the game that I told you concerns me is in South Kakalaki. That game concerns me because that quarterback is the real deal, and it's hard to win down there. If you go down there lollygagging around, you will get your butts kicked down there. And I think I caught POP by surprise the other day when I was talking about if we don't have success at Tuscaloosa, where we going next? I think I caught him off guard on getting his coach. He didn't know what to say about that one.
Oh wait, he's on here now. He just joined in. I forgot.
I never wearing me out.
I never heard him respond to that. Let me ask him his thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Bryce did say the other
He
day
did respond to that.
He did.
He did. Yeah.
Oh,
No, I did. I did. And I told them they were.
I thought you did, POP.
No. Some comments, Bryce, you can't just let it go over your head because you're like, that's crazy. Listen, Beamer is not going anywhere. Beamer is about South Carolina. The Gamecocks gave him an opportunity. He loves Columbia, South Carolina, and he's looking at building his own legacy right here in the Metro City. So I'm not even concerned about that. I mean, I think right now y'all need to be worried about if one Kalen DeBoer can get something done down there, because I think this is a very pivotal year for him. And I think, if you go another 9-win season, don't make the playoffs, then that third year for Kalen DeBoer will be make or break. Now, you probably will be looking for another coach, but it won't be Shane Beamer. It'll be somebody else. But, right now we're good with where we're at. We're looking forward to that game. I heard you say that this game concerns you here in Columbia, and it should. And we're going to be okay. And I think you got two good quality football teams, and Alabama get a chance to come back to Columbia. I wish they would have came here while Christian was playing, but that's when the schedule was all screwed up. But this will be the second time, in 5-6 years now that Alabama's been here in Columbia. That's a good thing.
I got to give you a little pushback real quick, though. I'll say this. I think
Maybe?
Kalen's got – yeah, I was going to say Kalen's got – I think with the buyout, with everything, I mean, he got at least probably 4 years. I'll be honest with you. I mean, unless there's something that – no, I'm serious. Do you not see that buyout? Brother, we're already talking about scraping money up to do revenue sharing, brother. With that buyout, he ain't going nowhere anytime soon. And they'll trust me. Listen.
They'll negotiate the buyout.
Nah, not with this new revenue share. Nah, it ain't happening. Go ahead, Bryce.
Well,
You are correct, Christian. He's not going anywhere because he's going to succeed. He's what we needed.
That part.
And we're going to show that because he's just putting the pieces together. And POP is right about Shane Beamer. We probably won't go after him because I don't think he's going to fail, Christian.
Well, no, and I agree with that part, Bryce, but I also will say this. I mean, look, number one, this is what I'm looking at, this whole situation. You got an extremely high buyout. You got a guy who just was in a national championship game a couple of years ago. He's had success. They're recruiting well. They're bringing good players in here. Everything is going pretty solid. The only thing we're really looking at right now is, okay, last year, in his first season, they had a 9-win season, and that's really about it, other than if you really dive into the technicals like I was talking about. There's a couple times that I thought the coaching wasn't where it needed to be, right? Which, again, nobody's perfect. And I'm not just saying just him. I'm saying across the board, which is fair. That being said, I look at it like this. If you're talking about a high buyout and all these other factors, the only ways I see it not working, which, again, I agree with you. I think he'll have success. I don't know what level. I can't sit there and confidently say I think he'll win 6-7 national championships like, Coach Saban did while he was coaching. But I'll say this. I think you have to look at it and be honest with yourself. If we do think we want to go in another direction, who would you look at out there that you even feel like would be an upgrade from a guy like Kalen DeBoer? Respectfully, Shane Beamer.
I just told you.
Shane Beamer is a great coach, but that's not an upgrade. Respectfully, that would not be an upgrade. You're talking about a guy that just was in the national championship game 2 years ago versus a guy that haven't even made the playoffs yet. I mean, maybe you look at it. I mean, you looked at Norvell, whatever his name, from Florida State. Well, the year after right after we hired Kalen DeBoer, the dude went like 2-10 or whatever the record was. The only one I could see right now, maybe, I mean, the Dabo talk didn't get much traction, right? Kirby's not going to end up coming back here, I don't think. But maybe, say whatever reason Kirby wanted to, maybe. Oh, shout out to Title Towel. See, my dad's got his Title Towel. Maybe a guy like Dan Lanning. But what I'm getting at is I don't even think there's anybody out there that you would immediately just say like, oh, man, we feel like he would be an upgrade at this point. That's just my opinion, though.
Listen, I mean, here's the bottom line. Okay, I mean, this is all hypothetical, as we know. But the bottom line is Kalen DeBoer has to get back to playoff contention. He has to win playoff games. He has to beat Auburn. He has to win an SEC championship. Those are the standards at the University of Alabama. Anything less than that is a golf slow clap. Thank you for trying. Take your ball and go home. And that's what it's going to be. And so he knows the parameters where he stands. I think he understands that. Now, is he a good coach? Yes. He was at Washington. He was at wherever else he's been, the little junior colleges or whatever, the little schools. But he has to prove that he can be dominant, that he can take a program like Alabama that has been at the pinnacle, that has been at the top of the mountain for years, a couple of decades. Okay, he has to prove to me and a lot of other people that he can take that type of program, get it back to where it used to be. Because what's happening is the fan base is spoiled. They're spoiled, period. I heard somebody call in was telling you, and I think it was QD. He was right. He took you back to all those years before Nick Saban. Alabama program was nowhere in the stratosphere of what Alabama football looked like in the 17, 18 years, whatever it was, that Nick Saban was there. Gene Stallings, and none of them coaches had nowhere close to the success that Nick Saban has had. So, but what we're looking at right now is a standard that is so high that we believe and we understand that nobody's going to get there. Nobody else is going to duplicate what Nick Saban has done. But they got to compete. They can't lose to Vanderbilt. They can't get dominated by Oklahoma. They can't get dominated by a team like Michigan, who most of their players didn't even play in a bowl game. They can't present that, or they can't showcase that, if you will, because that's not going to work. That's why I'm saying that third year is going to be huge. It's going to be huge for Kellen DeBoer. And I don't know if he can win a championship or not. I heard everybody else, all your chapstick and callers calling in, oh, he's going to win before Dan. Lanning and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, well, do we really know that? I would say
It's a
Dan
debate.
Lanning. Well, Dan Lanning has a much easier path to winning one than Kellen DeBoer.
That's what I said.
I mean, so if I was a bet man, which I'm not, but if I was, I would bet that Dan Lanning will win one before Kellen DeBoer, not just because of who's the better coach, but because who has the easier path, right? And to me, that's going to be Oregon and Dan Lanning. Period. It's not even close.
That makes a good point but I'm gonna bring this one step further. Caleb DeBoer is 7-0 against Kirby Smart, Sarkisian, Dan Lanning, and Brian Kelly. So, and that's a heck of a resume right there, because those are, I don't think near Brian Kelly is near the coach everybody brings him out to be, because he hit lightning in the bottle and he beat Nick Saban one year. You know, I don't think he'll be there much longer unless he does do something pretty quick. I think LSU will be buying him out, sending him back north. You know, it's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of people have them projected to have a really strong season this upcoming year. So, I mean, we'll see how that looks. I'd imagine if he does well this year, I think he'll be good for a little while. I just think with the landscape of college football, man, I mean, I agree with Mike, who just left a comment. I mean, the years of these dominant programs, I think it's kind of over. I just think you're going to see a collection of good teams kind of rotating each year, because there's more parity than ever. So we'll see.
Alabama's they're never going to get back to what it was. I mean, that dynasty was, man, that was just unheard of. So no program is going to get to what Nick Saban did at Alabama. So what you got to do is you got to cherish that. You got to be thankful if you're old enough to be able to witness that level of greatness in college football. But and we can't really measure Kalen DeBoer today. I know I do it a lot, but it's not really fair. I mean, I can't measure him to Nick Saban because he's not Nick Saban, right? But I can say there's a standard in which he built at that university that coaches, whether it be him or somebody else that's coming in later on, that they need to be held accountable to. And that's all I'm saying. And he has a long way to go. A long way to go. That's why go ahead.
Yeah. One last thing, Kristen.
Yeah.
If the shoe does come off and it gets sideways down at T-Town, I know POP's not going to like this, but Shane Beamer would walk to Tuscaloosa if offered the job. And I'm going to leave it at that, gentlemen.
Bryce, what you drinking? Are you drinking brown water? Are you drinking your water brown?
No, it's called reality. Nobody's going to turn down the coach at the University of Alabama.
Listen, I just told you, Bryce. Alabama is not Alabama that we know. Alabama is the next.
I know, but it's still got tradition, buddy.
No, it's the University of Alabama. You're tripping on that one, man. All the history here. Why would you not? Like, you tripping?
I don't care about that history.
Exactly.
He just talking. He's talking.
Jesse James is dead, Bryce.
If anything, his water might be a little brown. It sounds like.
Now I'm drinking watermelon sweet tea from Bojangles, Bojangles in Spanish, Bojangles.
What's that, Bryce?
I've been fortunately, I was old enough to live through both dynasties. Okay, I saw the Bear Bryant dynasty, and I saw the Nick Saban. Unfortunately, I'm old enough to see the greatness. I saw both of them.
Did Bear Bryant have a dynasty? Do we call that a
he
dynasty?
won 6 national championships.
Dude, are you drunk?
That's all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What
is this guy talking about?
Was that before integration?
Brother, listen.
It was right. It was right in the middle of it, POP, and unfortunately, I was in the middle of all that. I'm old enough to remember all that stuff.
Well, look, the fact is, though, and the fact is, he won how many championships, Bryce? Bear Bryant? 6?
He won 6 at one
He
university.
won 6. I know. He did.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
that's. I mean, there's
He
not even a
knows that.
question. That's a
He's just
No,
trying to
I'm
be
just
funny.
messing.
He's just trolling. He's trolling. Bryce, you have
No,
a great
he's trying to
weekend,
be.
man.
He's trying to be funny.
That's
He's
all
trying
it
to be
is.
funny, you know. And
We be jamming, man. We be jamming with Chase, man. Take care,
all right,
Bryce.
guys. It's great to talk to you, gentlemen. And
Yes,
and
sir.
I'm gonna go back and listen to his show yesterday on podcast because I missed it. It sounds like it was pretty funny.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
Go
but
back and check it out.
Just remember, thanks for letting me talk, guys. Y'all have a good
Always.
weekend, okay?
You too,
Blessings
Bryce.
to you,
Thank
Bryce.
you, man. All right, we got hit time
Bye.
out. We come back. We keep on rolling right here, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC.
Feel like I'm at the beach.
The Alabama Securities Commission
Came on here hating today. We got an app message from Tia we'll hit, and it actually segues perfectly into this legislation talk. Oh, damn. Cedric's on the phone lines.
What?
Oh, man. We done spawned Cedric. Dang, maybe we do need to wait a second. And Ellis. And
Yeah,
loaded on the phone lines.
All the cast of characters are back.
That's good. That's good. I guess I could hit this app message for Tia real quick. I don't know if she's listening via here or radio, but she asked, not sure if you guys answer this, but my question is, with the revenue sharing agreement, are we done with fans complaining about schools paying for recruits? I hope so. Even with the insiders, they use the same tired lines. If we land a recruit, they took less to come here because they love Alabama so much. If they go elsewhere, it's because other schools overpaid. LOL. Well, here's the deal. Believe it or not, it's not it technically still is going to be a very similar deal where schools are going to be bidding for guys, and here's why. You know, I talked about this last week. To my knowledge, the way it's going to be lined up is where, and we'll listen to Greg Byrne here in a second, that cap is almost, or that revenue sharing cap is basically like a salary cap, right? So teams are going to have the choice of how much they want to offer a guy and pay that player out of that cap. So before, obviously, we were using collective funds to do this, right? And those were unlimited. There was no cap. Now there's a cap. So what's going to happen, recruiting is going to be more interesting. Now, obviously, people are going to find ways to get guys more money outside of that cap. Because, again, NIL still is a thing. These deals do have to be approved, but we all know, just like Greg pointed out, I mean, before when it was illegal, people were finding ways to do stuff. I'm sure they still will. But on paper, yeah, man, coaches and general managers, you know, we used to always kind of, at first we were like, man, why are they hiring general managers so weird in college football? But now it really makes sense because you actually are going to have to actively manage your roster, which they've already had to do, but now it's more prevalent than ever because you're going to have to come down. It's going to come down to these decisions, right? Like, you know, how much do we want to invest in our quarterback? How much do we want to, like, there's a 5-star receiver coming out of hie school. You know, somebody offered him $1 million out of their revenue share cap, right? You have to decide, you know, where you're going to stack up with that.
Over 30 plus years.
And guys are going to have to make the decision on what they want to do. I heard one recruit say that for him, you know, taking $700K at LSU versus $1 million at another school makes sense because the big money is the NFL money. And he looked at, you know, the production and the output of
is Miller's Edge
at LSU. So. And welcome back into this free-for-all Friday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We just answered a quick question during the break about Tia's app message with the revenue sharing, and hopefully she was listening via the stream, just because I'm trying to crunch all this stuff in. We got limited time. We got 2 more to get to on the phone lines. I want to get to a piece of this video real quick, so I'm going to do this. But in terms of revenue sharing, it segues perfect. Let's hear what Greg Byrne had to say real quick. And Chase, don't worry about it. I got it pulled up. In terms of how this new legislation is going to affect us here. When I say us, I'm saying the fans, everything. He's going to explain how this whole new deal will work. And so here's Greg Byrne, who joined Roger Hoover on the Crimson Drive by NASCAR on YouTube.
And that would have been a great start to it, but unfortunately didn't work out. We were able to extend his contract. He has just brought such a positive attitude, energy, enthusiasm to the job, as his staff has. The culture within the program is really good. And I think there's a real bright future for our baseball program, which is great to see. And obviously, that's why we extended his contract, too.
It's really great to see that. And, of course, the success of the basketball programs. Once again, Nate Oates getting this
fourth. How many overtimes was it? 3?
2.
Roster, obviously, getting Fallon to come back was a big deal. You know, his ability to adjust the roster. And then that.
Sorry, Chase, I'm not going to lie. These timestamps might be.
That gets taken off of 20.5.
Okay, here we go.
To the way Kalen has come in right off the bat and really has instilled, his leadership and his style into what we're doing, and kids want to be a part of that. So the House settlement gives us a number of $20.5 million a year. I'm going to get in the weeds here a little bit. Every SEC school program has committed to $2.5 million in new scholarships. Okay, that gets taken off the 20.5. So that means we have $18 million to work with in rev share, and then we as an institution decide how we will distribute that to our teams. We have taken the approach that it's based off of revenue generation. We think that's a solid approach. We think that's one that makes sense for our program. As you know, you've heard me say many times, football is the engine that pulls the train, and at the same time, too, our two sports that turn a profit are football and men's basketball. So they will have the highest percentage of that rev share, and then we're splitting up the remaining dollars with our sports who are ticketed. So there's 4 other sports that are ticketed: softball, baseball, gymnastics, and then with women's basketball and football. I think that gets to 6, if I'm not mistaken. Those are the 6 sports that will have some type of rev share out there. I've heard all over the yard how schools are doing it. And how many sports. I know one that we compete against all the time is only doing 3 sports. I know that some schools are doing a little bit for everything. I'm not sure how much of a difference that will make at the end of the day when you just carve off a small sliver for a sport. But we have a plan, and I've told our coaches in this, it's fluid. We're doing the very best we can to make the decisions that we are with the information that we have right now. But I will personally feel, and I think our department and leadership, and we've had incredible leadership from President Bell, our trustees, to navigate these waters. We haven't done it in a vacuum, just where me sitting at my desk and saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. It's been a collective effort. And I do think we put ourselves in a good position, not only for the individual sports, but for us as a department as a whole, to make sure we're staying healthy long term. One of the things I have been watching some of and paying attention to what else is going on out there outside of Alabama. We have tried to look at it not only as a short-term decision, but also a long-term. And the financial impacts of this are significant. And so we try to be very transparent with our coaches and our staff, telling them, maybe talking to them in a more direct way than we ever have before about people's P&L, profit and loss statement, and showing them where we are as a program, included assistant coaches in that, the training room, strength and conditioning, and things like that. And I've said, every one of your programs is important. We care about every one of your programs. But sometimes in the past where they've heard me say, hey, you got to watch the dollars and cents, it probably hasn't resonated as well as we need it to. So we're being more realistic with that. Now, with that said, we're fortunate. We are a program that is in much better shape than 99% of other programs out there. And what we want to do is make sure we can still say that 3, 5, 8, and 10 years down the road, not just today, and trying to find that right balance. But as I said, it is fluid, and we're going to do our very best to navigate these waters and put our entire athletic department in the best possible position, and at the same time to create a system we think is fair based off of the revenue that's generated by the programs.
I think that makes perfect sense. So if I had to guess my math, so $18 million is what you're working with. It was 20.5, but like you said, 2.5 is going to new scholarships. I think everybody agreed on that. So $18 million you're working with. If I had to guess, given the way he just spoke about that, talking about 6 programs, I would say football is around probably 70% range, which would be about 12.6. If you go to 75, that'd be 13 something. So I would say on average, probably 13 million probably will be going to football, which makes sense given all the money that they generate. Meaning that, men's basketball and others will have to, figure that part out, which again, my biggest question, which maybe I'll just get Greg on here to ask him personally, how does that look when you stack that up against a program with the basketball team that they're only a basketball school, so they get $18 million to work with. So they got 10 to put towards their basketball program where we might have 3.5. Definitely going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Anyway, that being said, we'll dive more into that at another time. I know we're loaded on the phone lines. I want to get everybody on if we can. So let's do this. Let's jump back to it. 205-342-9904. Cedric, we haven't heard from you, brother. Where have you been, Cedric? Oh, no. Cedric, please tell me you didn't drop. Cedric. Going once. Going twice. Somebody prank call and said they were Cedric, man, to get us excited. Wow. Unbelievable. Cedric, I just stopped my damn video and my whole process.
I'm kind of glad you stopped the video, but
what are you glad about it? I mean, that's important. We gotta learn.
That stuff is. They'll figure it all out.
They will figure it out, but it's just it's interesting to know how it's going to look going forward. My thing is, I still just want to figure out. So, I mean, does this officially take some of that pressure off fans? Remember, it was yay Alabama, yay Alabama.
No, collector's still going to have something to do with some things too.
No, they do. They still, and he talks about it. I guess we'll get to it later. And I get that, but what I'm saying is not nearly as much. Think about it. Before, they were funding everything from that. They were funding. It's not like we just magically started paying $20 million, $18 million. They've been paying that the past few years, ever since NIL was officially able to be a thing. But think about it. Now they can only do legit deals from that collective. So I'd imagine it probably takes a little bit of pressure off the fans. Chase, what we'll do is we'll combine breaks. That way we can try to squeeze everything in here. We got Ellis up next. Ellis, welcome in.
Roll Tide.
There we go, Ellis.
Roll. What's up, Ellis? I got to say Kellen the boy.
You going with Kalen on the first national championship?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Fair enough.
Well, Ellis, how you doing, by the way? God bless you, sir. Good to hear from you.
I'm all good. Got my mother up here for 2 weeks. So
well, praise God. How's she doing?
She's doing fine at 89 years old.
Amen. Well, tell Mother Ellis we say hello.
I will.
But listen, I mean, I don't think any Alabama fan is going to say Dan Lanning. I mean, just because that's what they're supposed to do, they're a fan, they're going to say that. But if we're realistic and we're looking at the road to a national championship, you're going to look at I would say the difficulty of schedule, right? The difficulty of getting there. And we already know the SEC is the most dominant conference. And even the teams that are not great teams, the South Carolinas, the Mississippi States, to the whomever, Ole Miss, you're going to have to play your tail off and you're going to get battered and you're going to get bruised in those games. You're going to get injured in those games. And they're hard to win when you go on the road, especially going – these are hard games to win, even though you might be overall a better program. So I think that wears you out. So when you get to playoff and having to now even step it up even higher, I think Oregon has an easier path just based on even in the Big Ten, which is a decent conference, but it's not the SEC.
Yeah, they're easier because they're just not I don't know how you say it, Big Ten, they ain't all that.
I mean, they're good, but they're good. They're good at the top. Penn State, Oregon, Minnesota Cal, and now. I mean, they got some teams that potentially can be good. But I'm just saying, to me, it's going to be a little bit easier. Maybe not much easier, but if I was betting, as I said earlier in the last segment, I would definitely put my money on Oregon just because of the degree of difficulty. That's all. It wouldn't have nothing to do with it. Wouldn't have nothing to do with the coaches or who's better, right? I think both coaches are great football coaches with great upsides.
That's pretty much what I said. I just lean Kalen DeBoer. Obviously, I'm an Alabama guy, so I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I think it's close, but and I also was including, I think with our resources, I just feel like if they get their groove going with the the guys that we have, just like you said. I mean, I think we're definitely in good shape. But I agree with you. I think it's very realistic that Oregon could be have an edge there, given their path just seems a good bit easier when you look at their schedule compared to ours, and not just this year. Talking about year in and year out playing in the SEC, the teams that we have to face on an annual basis, man, it's always going to be tough. So
yeah,
yeah, and I think the whole team's going to be our team's going to be totally different than year one.
Yeah, we'll see. I think there's definitely going to be a lot of changes, a lot of carryover too, given so much returning production on defense, which is good, but offensively, Grubb coming in, a new quarterback taking over, things could look a little bit different there, bringing some guys like Horton in. Yeah, I think there's going to be some really good changes, and we'll see how it all comes together.
And
we'll know in about 70 days or so, Ellis. We're about 70 what? 3 days? I don't know. I'm just making it up. Low 70s.
Days.
71?
I think it's 71 days.
Ross Pierschbacher days away.
But I just think we're going to do good. I'm waiting on it. I got my ticket.
There you go.
I got mine too. Let's go. Roll Tide, roll.
Ellis, where are you going to be set up this year, Christian?
We're still working on that, and as soon as I get everything set in stone, I promise I'm gonna let you guys know, because I wanna get it out there as soon as possible. That way we can start getting you guys planned to come hang out with us again. Ellis is referring to our live show that we normally do, so I'll definitely keep you guys in the loop on that. Don't worry, we'll get it set up.
He wants some of them fat.
One more thing, you was talking about your dad and your brother going to get their beards trimmed and how long it took.
Yeah. You see mine, I did that at home.
I went to a place the other day, and that man worked on my beard for 15 minutes.
Well, white barbershops a little bit different than black barbershops, Ellis. Now you got to remember that.
This was a Mexican. This is a Mexican barbershop.
Oh, the Latino is kind of in the middle, right?
Yeah. Cost me $35 to get my bald head cut and beard trimmed.
It cost me about back home where I'm at now, $50, man.
Yeah, and it cost me $0 because I do it at home. Now, granted, I know it don't look the cleanest, but I'm trying to keep it a little wide. I'm letting it grow back in. That's why it's not as sharp. But you buy you some clippers off the internet for about $30, man. Best investment. Now you just got to learn it. You got to practice.
Well, barbershop.
You tell me to throw them away if you see me after I cut my hair.
Barbershops like churches, right? The white barbershop, they get you in and out. Take them signals, click, 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 click. The black barbershop might be an hour and 15 minutes. Same as black churches, you're going to be there about 2.5 hours. But you go to the white church, boy, 59 minutes and 40 seconds, you out.
So, and you don't hear the word amen in a white church.
They might just be saying ouch. They might just be saying ouch.
Well, when the preacher said something good, amen, what's wrong with saying that? Say it.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. No, black church, they're going to shout it. They're not going to mumble it. It's going to be shouted.
No, I've been to a black church before. I know.
I bet you have, Ellis. Yeah. They don't shock me. Ellis, we gotta get Pat on here for about a minute before we close things out, man. We appreciate you as always, man.
Oh, we got to get him on there to do the recruiting report.
That's right. Our expert recruiting insider. We'll get him on it for about a minute. Ellis, you have a great weekend, brother.
All right, roll tide.
Roll tide, Ellis.
Tide roll.
Pat, you with us?
Yeah, I am.
We got about a minute. I'm sorry.
Gotcha. Quickly, I know, but Ellis don't get to talk much. But what I wanted to talk about was how Jet did. He finished 10th overall. But it was because he was so wiped out from trying to figure out to beat the devil off of him up in Iowa at Iowa State and to get to God's country down here in Tuscaloosa. But
Yeah, you kill me, man.
Reverend, that's some good preaching. You know I'm telling you the truth.
Yes, sir. Amen. Amen, preacher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but no, he finished on day 2. He said he finished tied for number 1, and on in the elite 11 7-on-7, he threw 21 times. He completed 14 for 4 touchdowns. So that's pretty impressive, 67%. And I didn't realize it, but it's 4 seconds, 3.5 to 4 seconds. Anything over that's considered a sack in 7-on-7. Did you know that, Christian?
Yeah, I did. And I'm glad that they do that, because sometimes it used to be in 7-on-7. These kids would just be sitting back there for 10 seconds. And I'm like, come on, this is not realistic. But yeah, that is good that they do that.
Yeah, bring me a pimento cheese sandwich. Oh, run that post route. I got you. You know, nah, you're 3 point. I think it's more about 3.5 seconds. Because you don't, on a good pass rush, you're not going to have that much time. So you got to be like very, very accurate. You got to have that time clock in your head, and that ball's got to come out.
Yep. Hey, you guys have a blessed day. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Pat.
Appreciate that recruiting report. That's right, Dwight. Look like I'm going golfing, but I'm not. I just got that look, man. I just look smooth. I got my cigar though.
You sure do. That being said, we got to get out of here. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us all week long right here on the Miller's Edge, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport Experts. Big thanks to Chase. Big thanks to all our callers, messengers, everybody in the chat over on YouTube, over the airwaves, on radio, and the app.
Chase, go get you some mashed potatoes, some green beans, and some fried chicken today. Don't you go full with no taco. Okay? Especially
it's taco night tonight.
Taco night. It's Friday, though.
Yeah, you got to spice it up.
Friday for black folk, especially after Juneteenth, is Fish Friday. So let's go get some real fried fish and not fish taco.
I'm going to be in the doghouse. I can't do that. I'm sorry, y'all.
Fish Friday, get some hot sauce, throw on that thing right there with some coleslaw.
It's taco night for him, man. He'll do that Monday.
Thank you, Christian.
White bread. Get some Greg McElroy bread.
Yeah, okay. See, I forgot. See, it's like around the horn. I can mute him now. Thank you, Jesus. I got power to mute. I got the power to mute. Amen. All right, we got to get out of here. Make room for T-Town Sports Daily. Appreciate everybody. We'll see you guys Monday right here, Tide 100.9, 12:30, WTBC.